When a fan's heart is full of hate, he butters, cries, and a dark shadow falls over this troll. From the ashes of a once great fandom has risen a meme, an LOL that must be liked. We look to the airwaves for a vindicator, someone to strike fear in the dark basement of the parents who created him. The battle between fan and smark has begun. With a head on his shoulders stands the smart fan, a speaker of truths, with a voice of silence, and a radio show of justice. This is Ring Rust.
Speaking of TNA, this coming Sunday, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling will be having a pay-per-view, Slamversary 13, June 28th, from the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. So returning back to their old stomping grounds. This week I'm going to be doing a bit of a preview, as I normally do with pay-per-views. I'll do a preview of what's going on and, you know, in essence, what's up. I'm sorry. And let you know who I think is going to win and all that kind of stuff. So, because that's what I do. So we got 7 matches here. I guess we'll take them in ascending order, because I don't really think there's any, you know, there's no, is there a championship being defended at all? Well, the King of the Mountain is no more in contendership. Like, it doesn't, normally King of the Mountain is for the belt, right? So, anyway, it's like a reverse ladder match. I might try to explain it to you if I'm so inclined. I might not be so inclined, but anyway. So we're going to start with Davey Richards versus Austin Aries in a singles match where the winner gets to pick the stipulation for match number 5 in the best of series. So it's sort of like the Chris Benoit Booker T best of 7 for the U.S. title in WCW. Do something like that to actually make a belt look important. Actually say, oh, I'm going to wrestle you 7 times. And then whoever wins the most of those matches is the champion. So, yeah. So, of the two, Davey Richards and Austin Aries, well, I guess, you know, they want to do more with Davey Richards, I suppose. But, well, I got to admit, too, I haven't been watching TNA for a while. Since they went off of Spike TV, I haven't really been watching it all that regularly. I've caught it once or twice. Here in Canada, we can watch it the day after on ImpactWrestling.com. But I'm usually doing other things, and I either get too caught up into other things that I'm doing, or I forget. I will make a concerted effort to watch this week's Impact, since it's leading into Slammiversary, but other than that, I can't really make any promises one way or the other, but I'll try anyway. Even though I'm sure they're trying to do something with Davey Richards, I still am a big fan of Austin Aries, so fingers crossed that he'll come out with the win.
You think you're hardcore? You're listening to Ring Rust on CHMR 93.5 FM.
This is Fanboy Mark Jabroni. You are listening to Ring Rust on 3.5 CHMR-FM. I imagine there'll be some people, just for fun of it, using some sort of emulator, like, you know, putting on WWE 2K14 and saying, I'll make this wrestler that and we'll have them wrestle each other, and then we'll come up with LOL results for the pay-per-view. Because, you know, I've seen people do that. And comes out with some rather humorous results. Because video games don't go by psychology. Video games go by how fast can that character beat that character. So, onward and upward with the Slammiversary pay-per-view preview for this coming Sunday. On, still on pay-per-view, because they don't have a TNA network. I wonder how successful a TNA network would be. Probably not, I guess probably is not a qualifier I need to use with it. Likely not as popular as WWE Network. But So the next match we have here, the second match for Slamversary, coming this Sunday, is Bram taking on Matt Morgan in a not really much of anything match, except Matt Morgan is now newly back and he's gonna beat up Bram apparently. Or Bram's gonna beat him up or something. Two big muscular guys just throwing fists at each other. So I'm sure that's gonna be an interesting match. I don't know if people are going to want to go to the bathroom quite that soon, assuming that's going to actually be the second match of the pay-per-view, but it's not a super important match, so radio shrug. Yeah, that will be a great character for somebody. We'll have them come out dressed as an astronaut from the 60s, and then, yeah. Like I said, hopefully wrestling promoters will not hear that and think it's a good idea. Tag team match, which sees Bobby Lashley and Ken Anderson taking on EC3 and Tyrus. So you know how I like naming tag teams. Bobby Lashley and Ken Anderson, I guess, maybe just Kenny Bobby, sort of like Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights. And EC3 and Tyrus, we'll just call them the Smarm Patrol, because they're smarmy, and yeah, they're jerks, and they're good and they know it. Well, EC3 is good and he knows it. Tyrus is, well, Tyrus. I don't know how hastily the team of Lashley and Anderson was tagged together. I guess I'd call them Lashlerson as well. Anyway. Lashleaderson. Lashleader. Anyway. I've made up my mind it's going to be Kenny Bobby. So, I can see the two of them come. Well, they do actually both wear trucker caps, don't they? I think. Well, baseball caps anyway. Not necessarily trucker caps, but baseball caps. I think so. They've been known to. I don't know if they still do. Again, I haven't watched Impact in a couple of months, and I'm going to be catching up tonight or tomorrow when I watch it on off of ImpactWrestling.com, as we here in Canada can do. So,
Oh, Letty, it's good to see you took some time out of your busy Friday afternoon to tune into Ring Rust at CHMR 93.5 FM or 103.7 cable, or even if you got that newfangled internet holding jumbo at www.mun.ca/CHMR. So I don't know nothing about this internet, because I'm too busy with me sheeps here on the old farm. Pass me another bit of haggis.
So this is Fabo Mark Shabroni. You are listening to Ring Rust on 3.5 CHMR-FM. So the next match we have here is for the Slamversary pay-per-view this coming Sunday in the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. It's a 3-on-2 knockouts handicap match. The Dollhouse, Taryn Terrell, my future ex-wife number 13, I think. Jade and Marty Bell versus Awesome Kong and Brooke. Now, since the Dollhouse already has a tag team name, I guess Awesome Kong and Brooke. I'm guessing that's Brooke Tessmacher. Super Punch, because Tessmacher is Miss Tessmacher from Superman movies, and I don't know. Never actually put too much thought into that. I was doing other stuff and didn't realize until after the fact. It's like, oh yeah, I should probably come up with a tag team name. When I started speaking about it, it's like, oh yeah, I guess I should come up with a tag team name. Oh well, so I'll come up with something for next week, I'm sure. If they win, I'll have a tag team name for them. If not, then I guess it won't matter. But for the time being, I'm just predicting that the Dollhouse is going to win because they seem to be the dominant females there, and they're, you know, pretty, and they're all Snidely Whiplash, where previously they were all Dudley Do-Right. And, well, I don't know. And 3-on-2 handicap matches, that's generally how they're supposed, like logically, that's how they're supposed to end. The ones that have the numbers advantage are going to come out on top, but, you know, more often than not, in a handicap match, the good guys win, and ironically enough, Awesome Kong is a good guy. So, yay?
Hi, I'm Leah Von Dutch, and you are listening to Ring Rust on CHMR 93.5 FM.
because I needed to call it something. And that's the best I could come up with, even though I enjoy naming things. And anyway, so this is Fanboy Mark Jabroni. You are listening to Ring Rust on 93.5 CHMR-FM because I like it. It's, well, O Fortuna was actually my entrance theme for a while there in local wrestling, so that's the connection. And that's what I'd probably use that particular song at some point, I don't know where, or anyway, if I were to bring that same character back to the ring, I don't know. If Reverend Jacob Clemens makes his way back to a wrestling ring, I might come out to that song. I haven't decided yet. Or it might be No Exit by Blondie, or it might be the original O Fortuna, or it might be the song my friend Damien made for me a number of years ago, Praise the Lord, which I use for my To Follow Me thing, which you'll be hearing now momentarily after the next song. This my old CEW entrance theme in the background. Anyway, so back to the TNA Slammiversary preview for this coming Sunday. I think this will probably be the last match I preview for the top of the hour, but I'll probably play a song or two after that, and just to play out the rest of the hour, and then into the Macho Fact and whatnot. So, the next match, once again, it's not a match for much of anything. It's just sort of, the bromans have exploded apparently. It's no WrestleMania 5, but you know, it's an explosion anyway. So Jesse Goddard's will be taking on Robbie E. And because Robbie E, I think, is more or less just there to, you know, do his job, as it were, I think more than likely Jesse Goddard is going to come out on top of that one, I think. Just my opinion. I don't know. I wouldn't mind if Robbie E were to win. I like Robbie E that much better. I don't particularly care for Jesse Goddard, actually, but that's just me personally. Like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/ringrust. Follow me on Twitter @MarkJabroni, and subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboymarkjabroni.
You're listening to wrestling superstar, the Triple X Sex Express Sexy Eddie, and you're listening to Ring Rust, the one and only wrestling talk radio show.
And I gotta say, seeing Tiffany nowadays, she's still a nice looking woman. So next up for the TNA Slammiversary preview, the King of the Mountain match, which sees Jeff Jarrett taking on Matt Hardy, and Eric Young and Drew Galloway, formerly Drew McIntyre in WWE, and Bobby Roode. And King of the Mountain, I guess it does have a link here. I guess I might as well at least give it a good college try to explain what a King of the Mountain is. Like I said, it's kind of a reverse ladder match. Let's see. Consists of 5 competitors competing for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship or the TNA Exhibition Championship as of Slammiversary 2009. The match was a staple of the annual Slammiversary pay-per-view event in June until 2010, when it was not put on the card for Slammiversary 8. So the competitors in the match start out as ineligible to win. In order to become eligible, a wrestler must score a pinfall or submission on an opponent. The opponent who submits or is pinned is forced to spend 2 minutes in a penalty box cage. More than one wrestler can be in the cage. This often results in wrestlers fighting inside the cage or forming some sort of alliance. Once eligible, the wrestler may win the match by retrieving the belt and hanging it on the hook suspended above the ring with the aid of ladders. So that's what I mean by a reverse ladder match. You need to climb a ladder with something and hang it on the hook, instead of climbing the ladder and take something off a hook. A TNA official maintains possession of the bell and circles the ring, staying out of the action as much as possible. When a wrestler wishes to hang the belt, he must retrieve it from the official. Once the belt is in play, any other wrestler who is eligible may attempt to steal the belt and hang it. Once the belt has been dropped and no wrestler is attempting to hang it, a referee returns the bell to the official. The matchup is similar to the more common ladder match, which has the belt suspended above the ring, and the winner is the one who retrieves it from the use of a ladder. The King of the Mountain match is considered backwards in nature to the ladder match, as the competitors attempt to hang the belt instead of retrieving it. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? Like, why not just have the belt up there and just have that part be the same as a regular ladder match? Because you got to go back up and get the belt when you're done. So why not just have it end the same as a regular ladder match? It just becomes a regular ladder match. Like, when you're eligible, then the referee hands you a ladder, and that's your ladder for the rest of the match or something. I don't know. Well, it's a bit confusing, understandably. But, you know, I'm a big proponent of Bobby Roode, so I'll predict that he's going to win it. Whether or not that's accurate, I don't know, but...
Hello, friends out there in Radio Land. Place your hands upon the radio right now. This is Reverend Billy Seawards from the First House of Polyester Worship down here in the sunny state of Florida, telling you that you're listening to an oasis of decency in today's cultural wasteland of FM radio. That's right, friends. You're listening to Mun Radio 93.5 CHMR-FM, your only station that matters on the FM dial. Amen.
So, the last match we have for the pay-per-view this coming Sunday. The main event, maybe, kind of. I don't know. That's the order that whoever typed this up on Wikipedia seems to think. It's a non-sanctioned match which sees James Storm taking on Magnus for the honor of Mickey James, I guess. That's one of the last things I saw. James Storm did something to Mickey James, and anyway. So, again, I got to catch up and get, and that's what televised wrestling is good for. They do video packages, and they say, this is what you missed if you haven't been watching in a while. Now, generally speaking, the average person who's watching any given week has been watching for a while, but then there are people like me who don't watch in a while, and I'll get all caught up by watching Impact on ImpactWrestling.com, given that I'm here in Canada. Other parts of the world might be able to do that too. I only know for a fact here in Canada you can do it, so.
Feeling your wrestling news a little washed out? Think you've been forsaken? Fear not. You're listening to Ring Rust on CHMR 93.5 FM.
Shine and all the strides behind the signs with the brown and sense of supremacy.
Velvet Sky's Hot Body has earned her spot back on the TNA Knockouts roster after defeating Angelina Love on this week's show. Former NWA World Heavyweight Champion and WCW World Heavyweight Champion Big Van Vader returned to the ring on that same show, his first appearance with Impact Wrestling since 2003. He defeated Bram, who issued an open challenge to any former Dixieland star. Dixieland, of course, being TNA. It's what I call, because I call WWE McMahanopolis, and I call TNA Dixieland, because it's less boring than just saying TNA over and over again. Or Total Nonstop Action, or Impact Wrestling, or whatever, TNA Impact, or it gives me one more thing to say, basically. Former TNA World Tag Team Champion Matt Morgan also returned, having last appeared in June of 2013 and has been retired since January of 2014. Morgan will be facing Bram at Sunday's Slammiversary pay-per-view after saving Vader from a beatdown. Hernandez made his return as well, joining the Beatdown Clan. He last appeared for TNA in November of 2013. D'Angelo De Niro was back doing commentary with Josh Matthews this week.
Like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/ringrust. Follow me on Twitter @MarkJabroni. And subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboymarkjabroni.
This is Fabo Martironi. You are listening to Ring Rust on 93.5 CHMR-FM. The last bit of news I'll be reading here from the world of wrestling news stuff. The WWE Diva page recently adopted a new kitty who apparently had been owned by a crap family that left him in the rain and didn't feed him. So she went and snagged him, you know, like you would. He was living a hard life, living in the gutters and feeding on porks and beans, apparently. So she named him Dusty.
That's it for another show, kiddies. Check me out on Facebook, where you can keep track of all the news that's right on the mark, from around ringside to the latest concerts. See you at the shows. Later days.
This is 93.5 CHMR-FM.